We're gonna go all the way from Maine to California, baby. Oh look, I think that might be a sign right there, Tash.
We're in Cali, baby.
That's the new sign. Welcome to California. We're stopping mid-cooking to watch our first ever West Coast sunset together.
West Coast.
Now we're gonna try to live in a van on the West Coast. What's up, everyone? So we made it to California, where we left you off. We were in Tucson, and we stopped briefly there to see some friends and check out a couple national parks real quick. We went to Saguaro National Park, and then on the way to California, Joshua Tree National Park.
You might remember our Maine video when we were talking about how we were gonna go from Maine all the way to California. So we're here to chat about how
we did
the
that.
journey has been for us.
So first things first, what an epic adventure. And this just has been like an epic adventure. That's just the best way to put it. We did it. We did it. We went from Maine to California in this old van. And
It's really unbelievable.
yeah, I mean, the only way to believe it is to see it, which...
I mean, we could be anywhere right now. Like, you don't even know that we're in California.
Oh, yeah, we could be in, like, Europe right now or back in Maine, and we never left. Well, so in our first video where we were moving into the van, we both talked about our least excited and most excited things. I'm least excited about the heat, which ended up not being a problem, really. We had, like, one or two, like, days I would consider unbearable, but we survived them, so clearly they were quite bearable. And least excited about
the bugs. I still hate bugs, but I found they weren't an issue as much as I thought they would be.
Especially once we got more like south. Like
yeah, it got colder and the bugs weren't really around. But when they were, let me tell you, I was ready to put them up. Like,
every once
it
in
was
a
not
while,
fun.
a fly will come in here and have the scariest day of its life while taunting Tosh.
What I actually ended up liking the least living in this van is probably not really having privacy, but that's just like kind of how it is.
What do you mean?
Like privacy from the public.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah. Everyone's especially
these
with
curtains
our
are the
van.
best thing we have, you know. So it's like.
Yeah, no, that's true. We never really have like I guess a few spots we had would be like alone, but other than that,
If you're
it's
like
a
in the
lot
woods,
yeah.
like even right now, this lady's watching us. Okay. Anyways.
For real. My least favorite thing, honestly, was just seeing how like similar so many parts of the country are in terms of like always being a Walmart and a Target and Applebee's around instead of just like, you know, you always wish to see some local places, but it's kind of sad and feels a bit dystopian traveling around the whole country, but feeling like you never really left like Route 4 back in New York. So it's kind of tough. That was kind of tough for me personally. What are you most excited about?
Being able to go wherever I want. I think that might still be true. Like, I love having the ability to just like pack up and leave, go to the next spot if you want. Like, if you're feeling inspired. Like, it's just really an awesome thing that you only get living like this, really.
I'm just most excited about doing art wherever I want, and yeah, I would say my favorite thing about this too is also the freedom. We've been in California for a minute, and we just kind of decided to one day just like drive up the coast for a road trip, and it was just really nice because we just both were like, hey, you want to do this? And we were like, yeah, and then we were like, the next day we just left, and so that'll be our next video, stay tuned. But that was just really good to have that freedom. It's kind of, you know, not having to pay for rent at all. I guess that could tie that in. Like,
yeah,
we have been living in the van for like over 2 months now, I think, and all the places that you've seen in all of our videos, like, we've never paid a single amount of rent, like zero rent the whole time, and that's just been amazing.
But then getting to like the unexpected part about the journey for me was probably partly like planning. Like, I'm a big planning type person, so like we'd make a plan and then an hour later, the next day, would be like, scratch that.
Yeah.
Let's think of something else. And it's like, it was kind of like scary for me about it. I was always like excited, but also like, oh.
It is very difficult to plan when you're living like this. Like, we have a little bit of a routine and stuff like that, but other than that, it's kind of, things are kind of super up in the air a lot of the time.
my most unexpected part of the journey is like feeling unmotivated in like still life kind of, and in my like artistic ways too. Like I haven't been drawing much or painting or doing yoga, so it was like I thought that I would, with this lifestyle and not working and like just being able to focus on like us and traveling and stuff, that was probably unexpected for me. But I'm not gonna say it was a big downfall, because we are very like new to this, so it's
and
okay.
Young and very young. Like it's still something we can and will establish in our lives. I actually put that down as my biggest down for the trip, like, is that I just, we're traveling so much, and traveling in itself is exhausting, so trying to add like eating healthy and being active and doing art is very, very difficult when you're just like traveling all the time. And so I just didn't really expect how difficult it was. We weren't really traveling too slow, which played a big part in it, and that's something that we've learned, like, is that next time we're going to do something like this, if we want to really incorporate art into it, we'll have to just travel less than we have been, which is totally fine. It's just, that's what we learned.
What was your most unexpected?
My most unexpected thing is that when we got to California, it sucked.
Oh,
That is by far the most.
California's like hyped up.
I know. Like, I thought when we got here to California that like fireworks were gonna go off, and that we were gonna become like pro surfers, and it was gonna be 75 and sunny every day. Yeah. People here are disappointing, and they drive poorly, and it's just like it's not what I expected, and that's okay. It's good to know that. And they really don't like people camping here in their cars, even though it's California. Like it's just that was definitely my most unexpected thing.
But my biggest down this journey was, like, I've always known that it sucks that like everything costs money, but like we were fully like experiencing that on this trip, and we're realizing that everything in the world costs money, and that's just how it is. Like, I don't even know.
Too much money. Everything costs too much money. We have nothing coming in, and our messages and our journey, I've heard that it's inspiring, and so, what is that worth?
It just made me sad that even things like nature, like, you had to pay for still. Like, just for example, like getting into national parks.
But the only real reason behind that is so that poor people can't do it, and that they have to stay working. And I swear by that, because if we didn't have enough money to do it, we simply wouldn't be able to. Like, if we hadn't had a savings account, we wouldn't be able to do that stuff. We'd have to work, and then in order to go, you'd have to take time off work, but you might not be able to afford to do that. So the fact that we have created a system that charges money for things that were given to us for free is absurd.
Like, the world is literally designed to make you be a slave to the system. Like, us living in the van and trying to like just sleep in it on the side of the road, like, you can't do that because they want you to have to pay for like an apartment or like an actual home, or like they don't want you. And in order to do that, you
have to fulfill all the other steps as well. You have to just be the best cog in the machine that you can. Biggest up for me, like the best, I think the highlight of the journey is our personal growth, and like
are you speaking on my behalf?
I'm kind of like
like as in a relationship.
Yeah. And like our freedom, like that's been the biggest up. Is just like I haven't had anyone really telling me what to do since I like quit my job in April, but like even more so since it's like you wake up and your decisions are like, what can I do today? Basically anything, so long as you can afford it. Like the freedom, like we talked about earlier, is just unmatched. And also like I said, the struggles that we've had and the decision making that we've had to like process and weigh pros and cons and think on the fly has been such a great exercise in patience and growth and discipline, and it's been very, very good to kind of put ourselves through that and come out as, I think, better real life people on the other side.
My biggest up, I actually wrote down exploring. That's so general, and I was just thinking about, there was just a lot of moments for me, mostly in nature, that I just like really like felt my soul more, and I felt myself. And one specific moment was in Colorado. We were in like San Juan National Forest or something, camping, and I just like climbed a tree and just like hung up, like chilled up there for a second, and was just looking around, like feeling my heartbeat, like feeling myself breathing, like the air touching my skin. It was just like a really good up moment for me.
Okay, and finally,
favorite spot.
yeah, favorite spot. I think we
both said
we both said Telluride.
Telluride.
Definitely our favorite spot. We'd love to go back there. If you know anyone there who would let us stay or give us a job or something, we'd love to look into it. Hit us up. But we just can't afford it right now, or probably no one can really afford to live in Telluride.
But check out our video about Telluride
because it's cool and
beautiful.
beautiful.
It really is. Yeah, it's so cool there.
Some of the best views ever. And lastly, what do you miss most about home?
My cozy family, like Milo and Jamie, and of course my mom and sister.
I also put down that I miss my family. I think I really didn't like much about upstate New York. But leaving upstate New York, the only thing I really wish that I still had with me was my family and anyone who I call my family. Like, I would just be traveling and be like, oh, I wish, like, because you can send pictures and call on the phone or whatever, but it's never the same as being in person. I'm just like, wish I could just get everyone back home a van and be like, yo, come out and we'll all go camping or like hang out for free together. But back to the system that we were talking about earlier, it just is impossible sometimes. So
to wrap this video up,
talk about a major low light, capital L.
Well, we got to California. We made it to Laguna Beach, actually. It was really pretty. Could tell it was kind of uppity up, but it was a nice spot, and we parked right on the side of the road. The beach was right there. We watched the sunset, made some yummy dinner together, and then went on the beach. So we slept there. There was no there's parking meters, but it said like you had to pay until like 6 p.m. or something, and then at 8 a.m. So no signs that saying like no sleeping overnight or parking overnight. So we parked there, slept there. 7 a.m. we were kind of already awake, which is good, but like someone just starts banging on the window, literally like all around the van, like 360.
Yeah, literally like running around the van,
like every spot, like time to wake up. Like, this is the police or some shit. Like, it's time to wake up. Then he ended up, like, opening the door, and the cop was like, yeah, like, you can't sleep here. City ordinance. And
I asked him, like, I told him, I was like, well, officer, there's no signs around saying you can't sleep in your car. And he's like, oh, well, city ordinance, like, it's a rule. And you always heard that cops are supposed to protect and serve, but this guy was clearly just here to ruin our day. And so that being said, don't let cops ruin your day. And always look on the bright side of things. And this was a crazy adventure. We say that a lot, but that's really the only way to describe it. Like, it's just a crazy adventure.
Yeah. And now we have so much more knowledge and experience, so we know what we want to do next time.
Yeah,
we're doing something like this, or
very good perspective on what our lives can look like and how fun they can be. And so we're excited to keep sharing that with you guys. And if you want to follow along, make sure to subscribe. Send this video to all of your friends. Just send this video to everyone and help us out.
Thanks for watching again.
Peace.